Hi, I'm Kirby Allison, and in today's video, I'm going to shine a very special brand new pair of Bespoke shoes, my Bespoke pigskin cap-toe Oxfords from a British bespoke shoemaker, Dominic Casey. Now this is a very special pair of shoes. It was a mystery pair that he kind of sent me out of the blue after having watched my video where I review my entire collection of bespoke shoes. And Dominic said that he felt that this was something that was missing. And he actually referenced a story of Anthony Cleverly, of course, the famous, really 20th century shoemaker that, of course, George Cleverly is known for, where, during slow times, he would pick a customer, make him a random pair of shoes, and just post them in the mail with a bill. And of course, his clients were always so thrilled to get a pair of shoes from Anthony Cleverly. He was so famous, and of course, that they always obliged and very quickly settled that bill. So much in the same light, I've got this new pair of shoes that really is brilliantly gonna fit into my collection. It's something I don't already have, really complements kind of some of the more formal shoes I own with something slightly more casual. But I like this as kind of a crossover to dark brown pigskin. But Dominic sent it to me unpolished because he knows how much I like to polish my shoes. And he thought it might be fun to kind of showcase what the leather looks like really before it's gone through that finishing stage. So I've got some polishes here that we're gonna use. I've got, of course, a new pair of Wellington round waxed shoelaces that we'll put in at the end. So the first step is going to be just to condition this leather using the Saphir Renovatore. This is like liquid gold. We don't know how long this leather has been sitting on a shelf somewhere waiting to be used and turned into a beautiful pair of bespoke shoes. So the Saphir Renovatore is really going to condition that leather, hydrate it, make sure it's soft and supple, and also begin building that layer of soft waxes that we need in order to just protect the skin. Then after that, I'm going to use a few coats, probably 2 coats of the Saphir Pommadier cream polish. Again, these shoes have not been shined. They need that pigment, they need that additional nutrition, and then the soft waxes to help build up that finish. I've got 2 colors here. I've got the Havana brown and the Parisian brown. We'll kind of play with these once we get to this step to see which is the most appropriate for this particular leather. And then after we're done with that, we'll use a dark brown Pate De Luxe and then a dark brown mirror gloss to bring up the shine a little bit in all the important places. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so first application of Saphir Renovatore, we allowed that to dry completely. The more you allow it to dry, the better, the more that leather really kind of soaks in those nutrients. I'm gonna buff it off using a pig bristle brush. It's a stiffer bristle than horsehair. And I think that because of the texture leather, it'll really benefit from a little bit of a stiffer bristle. So let's go ahead and buff this first coat of Renovatore off. beautifully. Well, I mean, this leather really kind of soaked that up there. I mean, hardly anything to buff off. So there we go, first application, Saphir Renovateur. Next, let's take a look at the Pommadier cream polishes. I've got two colors here. One is the Havana or Tobacco Brown, which is a really nice kind of neutral brown. And then I've got one of Saphir's newest colors. This is the number 910 Parisian Brown. Again, a very subtle difference, almost hard to even really kind of describe. I'd say that this has a little bit more red in it, which is kind of why I'm leaning towards it with this particular shoe, because the pigskin seems to have a little bit of red in it. And if I tap that on there, it's actually a pretty nice match. Let's just compare it to the Tobacco Brown. Yeah, so you'll see the Tobacco Brown is a little bit too neutral of a brown. I think that this Parisian Brown is actually a perfect match here, so that's really kind of exciting. So we're going to put the Tobacco Brown up and instead start applying some of the Parisian Brown Pommadier cream polish. Now, one of the benefits of applying a cream polish, of course, is that pigmentation, which in any new pair of shoes is always going to have a little bit of color variation just in the leather. And so that first application of cream polish is going to help finish that out, or even it out, if we will. So these shoes being new need a little bit of this, and so let's use our high shine chamois, a little bit of cream polish, and see what we can do. So I'm actually using one of our newest products. This is our high shine chamois. We sell them in a pack of 3 or a set of 3 box set. Very nice. It is a really high quality cotton interlocking fabric, which allows this to be stretched and tied over the fingers, which is I guess, new feature versus our previous high shine chamois. A great product. I use this for all of my cream and wax polishes. And one of the ways that you can support this channel is heading over to KirbyAllison.com and grabbing a boxed set of these high shine chamois. So I'm applying this first coat of cream polish, and one of the things I just want to point out, you really can't see this in the video, is that I'm applying really quite firm pressure. I mean, this is medium to firm pressure. The goal is to work to really push that polish into the leather. You're not really merely just rubbing it around on the surface. In fact, a really good polish is solvent-based and is going to help really carry those pigments, those waxes, and all those nutrients into the leather. So medium to firm pressure, really kind of working it in. And I'll do probably several passes here to really make sure I'm getting that pigment kind of into the actual pores of the leather. Okay, so our Pommadier cream polish is dried. Gonna buff it off again with this pig bristle brush. Again, our Wellington pig bristle brush, designed exclusively by me. This features a really long pinning length to the pig bristle, which is actually quite difficult to find. So it has a nice flexibility to it. It's not too stiff, but it's stiffer than horsehair and great for buffing out textured leathers like this pigskin. So I honestly recommend at least having one pig bristle brush to supplement your horsehair brushes, if not an entire set. So of course, available at KirbyAllison.com. This is how we support the channel. So let's go ahead and buff this off. Yeah, nice. So let's real quick go ahead and apply another coat of cream polish. Normally I would only do one, but since this is a new pair of shoes that I'm shining for the first time, and the shoemaker hasn't done any finishing, I'm gonna go ahead and apply just a second quick coat. We'll let this dry while I buff off the first coat on the left pair. Okay, so that second coat of cream polish has been buffed off. We've got two nice, beautiful coats of the Saphir Pommadier. And you can really see the finish beginning to even out on these shoes and really build. We've got a nice soft shine. We've got a greater depth to the color. Again, that's the pigment from the cream polish. And again, I can't recommend or endorse the Saphir Pommadier cream polish any more heavily. It is an absolutely great polish that does an exceptional job at hydrating, conditioning, recoloring, and providing that nice soft shine. But next, we want to continue to build that wax foundation. Again, it's those hard waxes that really help protect the leather, help give it that nice kind of shine and even finish. So I'm going to go ahead and apply probably just one coat of the Saphir Pate De Luxe wax polish. This is the standard wax polish. Again, an incredible product, especially for building a nice shine. I'm gonna do just one. We'll see how it turns out. Not two, because I don't want to build up too many hard waxes because otherwise they can crack. But we'll apply this to the entire shoe, see what it looks like. We'll buff it off, and then we'll look to use the Saphir Mirror Gloss just on the toes and the heels. So. Set that aside, let it dry, and we'll work on the left shoe. Okay, so we've got the first application of the Pate De Luxe wax polish. We've allowed that to dry. It actually dries faster than the Pommadier cream polish because of that high solvent concentration. And I'm gonna go ahead and buff this off with a horsehair brush. We'll see how this works. Again, softer bristle than the pig bristle, and so it should give it a little bit of a nicer shine. Can really see this starting to come together. Again, that Pate De Luxe really just lights up. I mean, it's an incredible polish. One coat, one application, of course on top of some cream polishes, but really just look at the shine. Beautiful, look at that. really coming together. I mean, night and day from where we started. Just a few applications of polish. Okay, here we go. Beautiful. Wow, look at that. I mean, these really are beginning to look great. So one last step. Again, that was one coat of the, well, wrong one. This is one coat of the Pommadier Pate De Luxe. Pate De Luxe just means luxury wax polish. So this is Saphir's highest end range Pommadier wax polish. It has it's a much wetter polish than a lot of the American polishes, which is great. That high concentration of solvents that allows us to penetrate into the leather, but also it softens harder waxes. So when the solvents are dry, you get a much better shine than with ordinary wax polishes. Next, what we're going to use is a product that I actually helped invent. This is the Saphir Mirror Gloss. This is probably the greatest innovation to shoe polishes in the last several decades. I mean, it's the first new polish I've ever encountered. And what it is it's essentially a harder version of the Pate De Luxe. Harder waxes, again, it's those hard waxes that give the shine, lower concentration of solvents, again, that soften those waxes. And so this is really a totally transformational product in terms of building up that foundation of hard waxes for a mirror shine. It really makes the process go so much faster because it dries faster, it's got harder waxes, whereas with the Pate De Luxe, you'd apply it, it was kind of like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. This mirror gloss is really dry and absolutely exceptional for building up that foundation. So it's prone to cracking. Whenever that happens, really the best thing to do is to just use your chamois and kind of push it all back down. It's really not something to be worried about. So the first application is going to be quite generous, right? Because again, we're trying to build up that foundation of hard waxes. I'm only going to apply it to the hard countered areas of the shoe, the areas of the shoe that will not flex, the toe cap and the heel. The reason you do that is because if you apply it to the vamp, right here, as soon as you wear these shoes and the vamp or the leather flexes, those hard waxes will immediately crack and create a white residue. And so this is traditionally done just kind of on these harder areas of the shoe, like a spit shine. So I'm going to work this in here very carefully to start off with. Again, pushing it into the leather, medium to firm pressure. Let's see what we can do. Again, you want to push those waxes actually into the pores of the leather. So it takes a little bit of pressure, medium to firm pressure. As we get closer to that mirror shine, we will lighten up our touch and really begin buffing. But at this point, that's not what we're doing. Okay, so we have that. We're going to swirl this or swivel this shoe around to the heel. And again, just the hard countered areas of the shoe. Beautiful seamless back. It's going to light up with this mirror gloss. Really going to look beautiful. Okay, we're going to set this shoe aside, let that mirror gloss begin to dry, and then we'll start buffing it off. Okay, so we've allowed that ample time to dry. Again, it's a relatively dry polish, so it doesn't require that much time, but 5-10 minutes max. And I've got a new kind of clean chamois here because we are going to start that high shine process. So you don't want something that's gunked up with a bunch of polish. You really want something that's clean, which is why we sell these in a set of 3. I'm going to pull that tight, get that tucked under here. Okay, so this is my process for the mirror shine. We've got a lot of videos on the channel detailing this, but the general kind of foundation is applying the Saphir Mirror Gloss to create that foundation of hard waxes. Then essentially what you're gonna do once it dries is kind of wet buff it or wet sand it. I use a combination of some water from one of our water dispensers. We have these, of course, for sale on KirbyAllison.com also. And then I really like to use a little bit of the Pate De Luxe wax polish. Again, I find that that high concentration of solvents allows this to effectively melt and glaçage those hard waxes. I find that they really work well together. Just a little bit of water. And then what we're gonna do is really just kind of start the buff. It takes a while to really get those hard waxes to begin to light up. I'm using cold water, a little bit of wax polish, and you just buff. This is kind of the part of the process you really can't rush. You have to be patient. And I'm using a real light touch right here. I mean, you know, whereas applying the mirror gloss was medium to firm, I'd say I'm using a really light amount of pressure. As this begins to light up, I'll progressively use a little bit more pressure to get those waxes to shine, but I just want to start off really softly. And in case you have missed it, I'm actually using one of my favorite shoe shine accessories, our leather shoe shine carpet. I like this because it, of course, helps protect the surface of my desk from any of these polishes, from staining it, but also it gives a real soft surface to push the shoe down onto. You don't have to worry about damaging the leather at all. So if you're someone that really enjoys sitting at the kitchen table or the dining room table or your desk and shining a pair of shoes, I absolutely recommend one of these leather shoe shine carpets. Of course, also available on our web shop, KirbyAllison.com. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. I applied a second coat of wax polish there, or mirror gloss, just to, again, kind of give a little bit of extra to that layer. It's good to kind of set the shoes down, let them rest a little bit. It gives that wax a little bit of additional time to dry. So again, I always say that the mirror shine process really isn't something you want to rush. So it's nice to kind of do a pair of shoes, maybe even two pairs of shoes, to allow you to kind of set them down in between applications and really let those waxes kind of firm up. Again, it's only the hard waxes that shine, and so they have to really dry in order to be buffed to a proper shine. Just switching to a clean area of the chamois. A little bit of water, a little bit of Pate De Luxe, and let's get off to buffing. So just to show you what I finished right here, again, the heels, you can see a little bit of mirror gloss. I feel like edge and heel care is the final frontier of shoe care. It really is that cherry on top that pulls everything together. Often overlooked, I feel like it's actually one of the most important aspects, because you can have a beautifully shined pair of shoes, but if your edges and heels are trash, the shoe's just not going to look good. Kind of like shoelaces also. So that brings us to our next bit, which is going to be putting in a pair of shoelaces. I've got a pair of our Wellington shoelaces. Of course, these are made exclusively for us. We've got one of the largest collections of luxury dress shoelaces available anywhere on the internet. And these are made exclusively for us in Northampton. So I'm gonna go with a brown, round, waxed lace here. Again, it's a slightly less formal shoe, so I'm not gonna use a flat waxed lace on a black pair of cap toes or something. The narrow flat waxed lace would probably be my go-to. But these shoes aren't so casual to really warrant the unwaxed laces. So I find that the round waxed lace here is going to be kind of a nice happy medium between, again, that more informal unwaxed cotton laced and a more formal narrow flat waxed lace. This is the 80 centimeter. Might be a little long, but if you look at the way that the holes or the eyelets are done here across the facing, I think it's going to really require a little bit of a longer lace than a typical 75. So we've got this. Let me get these out. Also an opportunity to take a look at these shoe trees. These, of course, are fully bespoke trees made by Dominic Casey. He actually has someone turn these hollowed out on the inside to make them lighter, have a little bit of additional breathability. They're hinged, which again means that they have to fit precisely. There's no spring here, so really you only see a hinged shoe tree on a pair of bespoke shoes. And of course the shoe tree is essential. And then here's the other one. I mean, look how high this comes up right across the facing. That's really beautiful, nice skinny heel. So really, shoe trees are essential to taking care and really protecting the shape of the shoe. Okay, so let's just look at these. Beautiful. Okay. So we have a video on how to lace shoes. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one way to lace a pair of dress shoes, and that's with the kind of straight across method or barbell method. There is a right and wrong way to do it. Some people like to go up along the sides. The problem with that, though, is it makes it very difficult to pull or cinch the laces tight, which is the purpose of shoelaces. So I like to use a technique that basically has us jumping across. It consumes a little bit more shoelace, but it has a big difference in the end. Okay, so basically you are going to take one of the ends and you're going to jump across before this is a great example on why I don't like to pull the laces out very often. So you're going to jump across before bringing it over the front. So it's crossing in the back, but it's what allows you to cinch the laces tight. So there we are, first shine on these new pair of bespoke Dominic Casey shoes, dark brown pigskin, cap toe Oxford, absolutely beautiful pair, kind of a mystery pair if you will. Totally sent these to me as a surprise. He wouldn't tell me what he was working on. And I must say, I think Dominic nailed it. Now, if you're interested in learning more about Dominic Casey, you can visit his Instagram profile. We've got the link right here, Dominic Casey Shoemaker, and his website, of course. And Dominic will be traveling back to the United States in September of 2021, visiting New York, Dallas, San Antonio, and perhaps a stopover in Austin to visit with Lee Miller. So I couldn't more enthusiastically kind of recommend Dominic. You can see his work is absolutely beautiful, and he's just a great guy, great shoemaker. So I can't wait to put these on and wear them. Now, of course, all of the products that we used in this video are available at KirbyAllison.com. It's one of the ways that you can support this channel. There you'll find the largest collection of luxury garment care, luxury shoe care accessories in the world, as well as other great clothing accessories like this beautiful sovereign grade wool chalice tie, and I'm wearing a beautiful kind of sovereign grade pocket square also. All these accessories and more are available at KirbyAllison.com. Let me know what you think of these shoes. Let me know what you think about how they shined up. Otherwise, I'm Kirby Allison, and I love to help the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes while exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. Thanks for watching.